slide, we talk about 100% job guarantee program. Okay. So with Henry Harvin, we have a separate placement services department, okay, who would be able to brief you more about how the placement services work. Okay. So towards the end of the session, if you have any questions, you can ask me. And if you have any questions regarding the placements, you can contact the person who has invited you for this session. Okay. So let's explore the concept and opportunities here. So first of all, I would like to tell that TEFL, okay, that is Teaching English as Foreign Language. Okay, that is what it stands for, Teaching English as Foreign Language. Okay. And the same course is also called as TESOL, TESOL, TESOL. Okay, so TESOL is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Language. Okay, that is TESOL, right? And the TEFL, the TEFL, in short, we pronounce it as TEFL. So TEFL course certification is offered by the American Association of Teachers. Okay, so Henry Harvin, as you can see the logo and the name, this is a company that has originated in the US. Okay, it's a US multinational, and from their behalf, they provide a certificate called TEFL. But the same course is also, some institutes, they provide the same course as TESOL, right? So same course with two names. Why? Because as I said, TEFL is provided by American Association of Teachers. On the other hand, TESOL is provided by the Board of Canada. Okay. Nonetheless, I mean, no matter what certificate you have or what name your certificate carries, it's the skills, okay, that actually matters. Okay. So in this course, we will equip you with the knowledge and skills, okay, that you need or that you require to work as an English language teacher with foreign students. Okay. Foreign students, or there are people who learn English as a second language, or there are schools in India where English is a third academic language. Okay. So we will be able to work with all these students. Okay. It's not only as with foreign students, but you would be also equipped with the knowledge and skills that you need to work in India as well. Okay. Especially this year, we have got some really good results. Okay. The students who have completed their TEFL course from Henry Harvin, they have been able to get jobs in India and outside with international schools. People. So let's begin. All right. So the very first slide that we have over here, that is the introduction part. Now, in brief, this this TEFL course, it comes in three parts. Okay. There is part one, where we will learn the foundation, okay, about the language teaching. Okay. What does it exactly mean to teach a language, and how is it different than teaching other subjects? Okay. What are the expectations of your students from a language teacher? Okay. We all can, I mean, if you think back about your school time, with our language teachers, we had more sympathy and we were able to connect with them more, than the other subjects. Because language is a humanitarian, it comes into humanitarian area where language is a subject, where we can express a lot of emotions, feelings, and other things. Okay, but with the math teacher or with science teacher, we do not have that freedom to talk about how do you feel in a specific way, on a specific day, etc. So teaching a language is definitely different than teaching other subjects. Okay, so in this first part, we will see what are the differences, what are the students' expectations, and we'll see what are the learning styles, what are the teaching styles, what are the teaching methods, what are the stages in learning, what is the learning cycle. Okay. So over here, we will take in-depth look about that. Okay. Then we come to part two. In part two, we will learn the core skills. Okay. So in part two, we will learn the skills that we actually need to teach to our students. Okay. Over here, we will study about how to teach LSRW skills, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing, how to teach grammar, how to teach vocabulary, and also how to teach pronunciation. Okay. So these are the 7 areas, okay, or these are the 7 skills that we teach wherever we are there in English language classroom. We are going to teach either one of these skills. Okay. And then the last part, okay, this is where we are going to study about some more information that helps us to be effective teacher. Okay, so this is going to be a specialized program where you will be equipped with the tools, techniques, and skills, okay, that you need to plan your lessons more effectively, to manage your classes. Okay. So again, the third part is again something that we do not teach to our students, but it is extremely essential for us to survive in the workplace. Okay. All right. So the next thing is benefits of the TEFL course. Okay. So this TEFL course, it will prepare the aspiring English language teacher for the classroom teaching. Okay. That's a very important thing. Although this course is going to be conducted online, okay, I mean, there is a benefit of that. Okay, you saved your your essential time on traveling, right? And I personally love that fact, okay, that I can save my time on traveling. I do not have to travel twice every day. Okay. So you save your time and you learn from the comfort of your home. However, you will for sure be equipped with the knowledge and skills that you need to teach in the actual classroom teaching. Okay, so this course is oriented, or it will help you to work in the online atmosphere, in the virtual atmosphere, and in the offline mode as well. Okay, so it will be you to decide how you want to work. Okay, next thing is this course will equip you with the skills that you need to work with all levels and all ages. Okay, so working with a young learner, let's say of 7-year-old and elementary level or maybe beginner level, you need a different approach, you need different strategy. On the other hand, working with a 50-year-old, okay, same, let's say beginner or elementary level. So with that learner, you need to have a different strategy. You need to have a different approach, right? So this course will equip you with the skills that you need to work with all levels. Okay, so your students can be elementary, your students can be intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced level. You choose what is the level that you want to work with. Some of the students or some of the people or some teachers, they are not comfortable to work with the young learners. Okay, then you can work with adult learners. Some teachers are not comfortable to work with the early learners. Okay, um, I mean, some teachers, they want to work with the students who are actually able to speak and understand English quite well. So you can choose that age group or that level to work with. Okay, so this course will equip you with the knowledge to choose the level and age of your learners that you want to work with. And the next thing is really important: classroom management. Okay, classroom management is we can say it's imperial subject. Okay. So there can be a teacher, let's say, who has maybe quite a long experience. There can be a person who has done, MA in literature, or someone who has cleared the NEET exam, right? Like the NET exam. I mean, all these things are good, but that doesn't mean like you have the knowledge. That's good. You can teach. That's also good. But when you're teaching, and if your students are not being into discipline, if your students are maybe gossiping something or maybe not listening to you, leaving their places, if there are classroom management issues, okay, if there is if their behavior is disruptive, if they are disturbing the other learners, okay, so how do you take control of these learners or these kind of classrooms? Okay, especially for the new teachers, for the beginner teachers. Okay, classroom management issues. are of the top concern. Okay? Students, no matter what their age is, the early learners or the adults, okay, they have that sixth sense. Okay, they have that understanding where they can just understand it by the way the teacher enters the class or speaks with them. They can understand that this is a new teacher, has no understanding of teaching, very like no experience, very much pressure. Okay, so then they are not going to follow your instructions. They just want to do something of their own. Okay, so to take control of the classroom, we need this information, we need this knowledge, and we need the skills about how to manage the classroom effectively. Okay, so this is what we will be studying towards the end of this course, and this is what we are going to study for 2 sessions. Okay, so one of the lengthiest topics that we have in this TEFL course is the classroom management. Okay, so this topic is going to be addressed in great depth, right? The next thing is we will take an overview about grammar and phonology. Okay, so there are some people who join the course, but they have, like they are speaking some incorrect grammar when they speak, or they might have some mother tongue influence in their speech. Okay, so in order to help them to come out of that, we give an overview. Okay, remember, it's going to be an overview, not a detailed information, not in-depth teaching. It's just going to be an overview about how to improve your own grammar and how to come out of your mother tongue influence. Okay? And then our focus is going to be on how to teach phonology, how to teach grammar effectively. Okay? So that is what we are going to do over here in this topic. And then TEFL, it opens the whole new world of opportunities. You can try to take a job as a teacher, coach, trainer, mentor. You choose what you want to do. Okay, so over here on this next slide, now we are looking at some of the possible job opportunities, okay, after the completion of this TEFL course. Okay, so the very first thing, okay, over here, we are going to go counterclockwise. Okay. So the very first thing over here is if you want to get start to work as an EFL teacher, that's actually the very first step. This is the job. EFL, English as foreign language, or ESL, English as second language teacher. You can start with that. Later on, you can work as a teacher trainer. Okay, so maybe a couple of years working as an EFL or ESL teacher, then your school administration will ask you to train the newly hired teachers, right? If you want, you can work as a freelance teacher. Okay? So just like me, I'm working as a freelance teacher with Harvin. Okay? There are 2 other companies that I work with. Okay? So I am a freelancer, and so far it is going really good for me. Right? So you can choose to work as a freelance teacher, or you can work as a translator. Okay? So there are some jobs or some freelance work that you can get in terms of translating information. So whatever language you are good in, okay, whatever language you're good at, it can be your first language, or it can be Hindi or any other language. Okay, so you can work as a translator in other countries, in foreign countries, especially in the European Union. Okay, over there, translators are the people, and they have a license. Okay, just like here in India, we have a driver's license. Okay, they have a license for translation. Okay, so it's a very respected and very very essential job, okay, especially in the countries where they do not speak many uh, languages, or where they do not speak English language. So in order to interact with the world outside, they depend heavily on the translators. That is why a translator is a very important position, and they have a license for that. Okay. So if you want, you can work as a translator after completion of this course. Now, the next thing is you can work as a process consultant. Okay. So process consultant, that means you can help people to, like these consultancies are there in every big city in India. Like I'm from Pune, and here in Pune, we have at least I can say 8 consultancies for sure, 8 big consultancies, and these consultancies are there in other cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, Ahmedabad, everywhere, all the big cities. So these consultancies, they help people to apply for their PR visa. A lot of immigration is happening these days, and especially Canada is the country of choice for us Indian people. Canada, the US, the UK. They, UK not that much these days, but everyone wants to go to either to the US or to Canada, right? So these consultancies, they assist these people to apply for the visa, to appear for the visa interviews. So it's a very detailed, a bit complex job, right? And these consultancies, they also provide information, or they also provide training on IELTS exam. Okay, so I'm sure some of you already are familiar with the IELTS. IELTS, in short, it is called as IELTS exam. So in order to move to Canada, there is an exam that is called as CELPIP. Okay, so we have these language proficiency exams like IELTS, CELPIP, PET for Australia, and TOEIC and TOEFL for sure. Okay. So these process consultancies, they provide training on language proficiency as well. So you can go and work with them. Okay. You can train over there for the language proficiency exams. Okay. That is one thing. Plus, if you take knowledge about how to help people with with the process of applying for the visa, etc., if you can do that, then you can start, your own consultancy. If you have, of course, if you have investment, you have space for that, and if you're interested, then you can do that as well. Otherwise, as an IELTS trainer, as an TOEFL or CELPIP exam trainer, you can work with the process consultants as well. Now, the next thing is you can work as an academic coordinator and ELT administrator. Okay, so these two positions, they are less about teaching and more about administration. Okay, and these two positions can be achieved after quite a long experience. Next thing is summer camp trainer. So as we all know, here in India, we have our summer breaks, and all over the world, they have summer, like they provide summer vacation in the schools, okay? Especially in the countries there in the northern hemisphere of Earth. The summer is a time that they really celebrate. Okay? I have worked in St. Petersburg in Russia 5 years ago, and during the summertime, that is in the month of July and August, there is no student who actually wants to come and learn from you inside the classroom, right? So in that case, we used to conduct sessions that we called as English outside. Okay, so we would meet in the park, okay, and we would sit on the lawn and directly in the sunlight, and teach English. That's one thing. Other than that, you can work with young learners where they conduct the summer camp sessions. Okay? So you can work with them as a summer camp trainer. Okay? Uh, I mean, your role in the summer camp is going to be add fun to the students' life or to the young learners' life who are there in the camp, and keep interacting with them in English. Okay, do not, I mean, even if you know their first language, don't speak in their first language. Let the students have no other option to speak with you than to speak in English. So doing that, we can naturally motivate them to speak in English. Okay, so those roles or opportunities are also there. Okay. Then, of course, you can teach business English, okay, to the people or to the corporate sector. Okay. You can work with the companies and help them to learn business English communication. And the last position is of director of studies. Okay. So, of course, this position would come after maybe a decade of experience. Okay. But that position will also be there. Besides all these roles, one role that I believe is available in India, if you want to work here in India. So we have jobs like communications trainer. Okay? Then we can work as a corporate trainer. And there are jobs. If you have worked with an international voice process in the BPO industry, then you have a good chance to apply for the role of voice and accent coach. You can work and help people to improve their voice and accent in the call centers. So these three additional job roles are also there. And plus, we all know that in India we have, literally thousands of schools, right, where you can apply for a job as an English language teacher. Okay, people. So the next slide over here, you see these are the job opportunities. Okay? So this is where the Indian English language teachers are working in quite a big number. Okay? However, I want to assure you that these are not the only countries where Indian English language teachers are working. Okay? I personally know a teacher, the student of Henry Harvin. Right now, she's working in Argentina. Okay? One of our teacher is working in Qatar. Okay? One of them is in Thailand. Okay? And one of my personal, one of my students who took this Henry Harvin TEFL course is working in Vietnam right now. Okay? And of course, there are teachers who are working in the EU region and other places. Okay? Okay, people. So let's quickly discuss the course structure. So this course, it comes into 4 parts. Okay? The first part is 120-hour of TEFL course. Okay, so as we are going to, as we are discussing the post-graduation diploma program, a PG TEFL program. So over here, the very first, you get 4 courses. The very first course is the TEFL or the TESOL course, TEFL or TESOL, 120 hours of course. So over here, you will get the in-depth knowledge about working as an English language teacher. Once you complete this course, you take the exam and you get your certificate, then you will be moved to the next part. Okay, this is the second course where you will learn how to teach business English. Okay, this is where you will learn how to teach business English. Okay, so there is a big scope to work as a business English language teacher. Okay. Then we have another specialization program over here, that is young learners teacher. So it's part of common sense, right? That most of the jobs in English language teaching, we can say 70% of the jobs in English language teaching are with young learners, because English is now a compulsory subject all over the world in every school, right? So they are learning English, and students, they have to learn English. There is no option. So naturally, they are the biggest number of students, right? So that is the biggest group. So we are going to take a special training on how to work with young learners. And then the last part of the course is going to be about train the trainer, how to train other trainers. Okay, that is what we are going to study over here in the very last part of the course. Okay. Now, let me give you a brief overview about the course. We have somewhere around 5 slides. Okay, so in the next 5 slides or 6 slides, I will give you the overview about the course. Okay. So what you will exactly learn in this course? Okay. You will learn how to teach grammar with fun. Okay. So over here, what we can do, for example, you can build grammar practice into fun writing assignments. So the first point is what I'm going to explain you right now, because we do not have time to go through all the 6 points. Okay. So the very first point, build grammar practice into fun writing assignments. So you can encourage your learners to come up with some creative ideas. Okay. You can keep the the formality or the formal atmosphere outside the classroom to help your learners to practice the target language. Let's say you have taught them any tense, or maybe you have taught them conditionals or passive voice. When you want to when you encourage your learners just to convert the sentences from one tense to other, so that's a very restricted environment, where they do not have much scope to use their creativity. Okay? So sometimes students, they just want to play around with the language. They want to make some silly examples. Okay? Some examples that you cannot really write in the exam, or some examples that you cannot really write in the homework, but they think about it. Let them have fun. Okay? As long as they're using the target language, it's good. Okay, so maybe you can give them a topic to write. You can write a sentence on the board. Okay, and that's how you can start the first sentence of the story, and then encourage your learners to come in front. Okay, and they are going to contribute one sentence, or maybe you can divide your learners in small groups, say a group of 3 people or something like that. And now you have written a sentence, and students are sitting there in the classroom in their small groups. Now they have to make this story, that the beginning of the story is there, the first statement or the first line. Now students, they need to be creative and try writing something creatively, add some fun. Okay? So now group one, they decide, and one of their representative goes and writes the next sentence. Now with 2 sentences, the next group, they have to come up with a sentence, okay, that can work with the same story. Okay, it should be associated, or it should support the first 2 sentences, like it should support the story, but it has to be, it has to add some value to the story, right? So over here, we give them some chance to think spontaneously, because they are not aware what the other group is going to go and write. Right? So whenever they see that sentence, they have to be very quick. They have to use their spontaneous thinking skills, and they have to come up with a sentence that also adds some value to the story. So this way you can have, let's say, 10 or 12 sentences on the board. You can tell your students, okay, as you progress through this activity, you can tell your learners, okay, now you have to write the middle part of the story, or now you have to start writing the conclusion of the story, right? So this activity might take around 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, but it's good. Your students, they are continuously looking at the target language, which is written on the whiteboard, right? So they are continuously engaged, reading, rereading the sentences, right? And they enjoy. Okay, they say they wrote that, we wrote that. Let's see what the next group is going to write. And overall, the story would start at one point, it ends at a complete different point, and there are some fun elements in the story. So they enjoy it. And look at the curiosity. Look at the curiosity that there, which is there in the classroom, and they are also observing if the other group is writing in the correct in the correct grammar. Okay, as long as they are writing the sentences in the correct grammar, it's good. We as a teacher should be satisfied. We are achieving our purpose, and our students are continuously engaged with that topic, and for, let's say, 15 minutes. Right? So that's a good thing, right? So that's how we can add some fun into teaching grammar. Okay, so instead of just encouraging them to use the grammar translation method, translate the sentence from this tense to that tense, that's it. That's quite boring and outdated method. And that's the example of fun, like first one. We do not have time to go through the others, but if you want, you can take a screenshot of this slide. Okay. Now let's study about how to teach pronunciation. Okay, people. So if you want, you can take a screenshot of this. So tips to teach pronunciation and accent. Okay. So the very common method so far that we know to teach pronunciation is repetition, right? So if I read a name, okay, for example, there is a name Anita, Anita, and a foreigner would pronounce that name something like Anita, hey Anita, or let's say a Anita, right? Anita. That can be the possible pronunciation. Now you have to respond back saying like, my name is Anita. Can you say Anita? And then that person would repeat Anita, Anita, not Anita, Anita, right? And then finally the person would be able to pronounce the name in the right way, Anita. You know, maybe at the start he pronounced the name as Anita or Anita, right? To bring him from that incorrect pronunciation till the correct pronunciation, what we do is verbal communication. Repeat the right pronunciation and make the person to repeat after you, make changes in their pronunciation, and then bring them to the desired pronunciation. That's a very traditional way to teach pronunciation. But in this course, we will study another method to teach pronunciation. Okay? In this method, verbal communication is not required. Okay? Without the help of verbal communication, can there be another method? Is there another technique through which we can, encourage the person to learn the right pronunciation? And this method would actually be better. Okay? You will be able to help them with pronunciation faster. Okay? So we will study that method. And over here, you can say point number 9, I can explain you this over here. So pay attention to intonation and stress. Okay? So this is where we Indian people, or the foreign, the people who learn English as a foreign language, they make mistake. Okay? So a simple word like RADIATOR, okay? RADIATOR, that word for us Indian people, we would normally pronounce it as radiator, right? Radiator. Maybe some other people, they might pronounce it like radiator, right? A person from Russia or the post-Soviet Union countries might pronounce this word like radiator, radiator, right? And we mispronounce these words, but we fail to learn new pronunciation is because we do not pay attention when we speak. So that is point number 9. You need to pay attention to the intonation and stress. You need to be aware about your speech pattern. Whenever you are going to pronounce the word, you need to be aware, because we have got a habit to speak in a specific rhythm, to speak in a specific intonation, to use a specific stress pattern. Okay? That comes from our first language. And if we do not pay attention, then it's very likely that we keep repeating the same stress, intonation, rhythm in English. That is why so many of Indian people, we have that accent, okay, where we sound like what I am speaking right now. We sound like this all the time. And people, they keep wondering how to come out of this accent, right? Attention is the key. Pay attention when you speak. Of course, there are different techniques. There are more methods to come out of the accent. There are techniques and methods that we will study in this course. But as of now, in this demo session, okay, this is something that I can teach. Okay, people, please keep yourself on mute. Okay, I will answer your questions towards the end of the presentation. Okay, so awareness and attention is the key. Right. The next one is classroom management. Right. So over here in classroom management, I can explain the last point. Yeah, again, we do not have time to go through everything. So the last point is direct your attention so that students know what is going to happen. Okay. So this is where we study about the the area where instructions, if your instructions are not clear, then your students are just going to find it confusing to understand what are they expected to do next. Okay, and if if their best friend is actually able to explain your instruction better, then you lose the credibility, right? When we were in school, we all have experienced situations where our, not all, but some of our teachers were actually not able to explain things better, right? And then one of our best friend was actually able to explain it in simpler words, right? And then the way we felt about the teacher, it's so simple. Why the teacher is making it so complicated, right? So in this TEFL course, we teach you about the different activities that you must include in your lesson plans to keep your lesson interactive. And there are going to be different activities. So you have to give them instructions. This is what we're going to do next, or that is what we're going to do now. Okay, so your instruction, it has to be, towards the students and tell them what is going to happen. Without the instructions, if you're telling them, okay, like if you change the activity without informing them, they just feel confused, they feel lost, and that is not a good feeling, right? So direct your attentions or tell your instruction has to be simple, easy to understand, and it has to be short, really brief. Okay? So that is one thing about the classroom management. If your instructions are not clear and if students are not able to follow you, they are not able to start the activity, or maybe they have started the activity but they are not aware, they don't know, they're still confused about what to do. Of course they're going to speak and ask with their friends. And if more than 5 people are like that in the classroom who are asking other people, so they are disturbing at least 10 to 12 people in the class, right? So that is like at least 1/3 of the class is disturbed, right? So that can lead to a bigger classroom management issue, right? So direct your attention, keep your instructions very simple, and make sure your students have understand it, and give your instructions only when your students are ready to listen to you. They do not give them any instructions, do not speak when your students are not ready to listen. Maybe they are just wrapping up their books, they are maybe taking out their notebooks or keeping it inside, or they are just settling down, that they, whatever they are doing, make sure that they are ready to listen to you and then give them instructions. Okay, people, so this is one tip, and we have a lot of other tips or information or points to discuss like that in the entire course. Okay, so when we will study the classroom management topic in the course, we will study about other things in great depth. Okay, now the next thing, this is about train the trainer. What we will learn in the train the trainer course. Okay? So this is a skeleton or format of that course. So the very first thing is you are going to experience teaching. Okay, you're going to experience how to teach, and then you are going to get reflections. Okay, so the students, the other people, they are going to tell you, or they are going to share their impression. Okay, so you will get the reflection, what has worked, what has not worked, or what could have worked better, things like that. They will tell you, and then you can conceptualize, okay, what are the areas where I as a teacher need to improve, what are the areas where I need to maybe give better examples, maybe I need to explain the topic well, or maybe I need to work more on writing down the information, representation of the information. Maybe I need to work more in terms of providing them the worksheet, or what worksheet exercises or activities have to be there. So you need to conceptualize, right? And then the last one is experiment. That means you do it again. So once you do it, you experience, and then other people will give you the reflection. You can conceptualize, decide where to work, what to improve, and again experiment, experience. You'll get the reflections, conceptualize. So that's kind of a the learning cycle which is there, or the train the trainer course. The last part of this PG TEFL program is based on this learning cycle. Okay. Now, in order to tell you about the presentation skills, okay, over here, what I can tell you is that your presentation as a teacher, it has to be really short. Okay? So this TEFL course, it is oriented to equip you with the skills and the knowledge to teach effectively. That's right. But we also need to be aware about one important concept, that is TTT versus STT. TTT is teachers talking time versus STT is students talking time. TTT has to be really short, maybe, let's say 50%, and let your students do 50% of the talking. Okay? Or it can be, let's say, teacher is going to talk only for 30% of the class, and 70% is our students who are going to talk. I mean, we want our students to do more work. Okay? We want our students to start learning autonomously, okay? In the autonomous way. So that is what our goal is. So your presentation, whatever topic that you're going to explain them, let's say you're teaching passive voice. Just because you're a teacher, you do not qualify to speak for 30 minutes, right? If you have a session that is 45 minutes, it doesn't mean that you have to teach and explain for 35 minutes. Now, your presentation, it has to be short, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Explain them the core concept. That's it. Then let them work on it. Encourage them to create sentence, encourage them to make sentences, change sentences, write a sentence. Okay, maybe write half of the sentence and encourage your students to try completing the sentence. Right. So a lot of different methods are there to teach instead of just standing there and speaking for a long time. Okay? So our presentation as a teacher, it has to be short. Our students should actually wait for us. Our students should wait, like when the teacher is going to explain, when the teacher is going to speak. We want to earn the image of a celebrity, where a special celebrity in the movie just doing a guest appearance. But even just because this celebrity is there as a guest, still a lot of audience goes there, okay, to see that movie. Similarly, our presentation or our explanation, it has to be short, crisp, and to the point. And when we are explaining, our students should bring all their attention in their ears and listen to every single word that we are explaining. If you are speaking for a long time, then sooner or later your students are going to lose attention, and you as a teacher would lose value of your words. I mean, if they are not listening to you, if you're talking and other students, like I'm sitting there and of course I'm looking at you, but in my mind I'm thinking about something else, and I have been drifted away, right? So that's not good, right? So your presentation has to be short. So that's one point from this presentation skill. So you can take a screenshot of this slide if you want. Okay, because of the time constraint, I can just explain only one point. Okay, let's go to the next area. Okay, lesson planning. This is really important, especially in lesson planning. We have 3 stages: before, during, and after. So what exactly happens before you plan the lesson, or how should you plan the lesson? Before you start planning, what different things should you consider? Okay, what experience should you consider? Should you consider your students' expectations and their experience about the target language that you're going to teach them? So all of that comes before the class, and how lesson plan can help you during the class, and how lesson plan can help you after the class. We will study that in the course. Now, I will quickly walk you through these 8 stages because I think this is important. So introduction is how you want your students to connect with the new topic. We do not want to enter in the class and say, today we are going to learn past perfect tense and write on the board past perfect tense. No, this is not the TEFL way. We want our students, we want to give some introduction to the topic. We want to make our students think about some actions, some incidents that actually happened in past, and then make them think about what action happened after that. right? Maybe your students can speak in their first language, Hindi or any other, whatever their first language is, they can try to speak in that. But let them remember two instances that happened in the past. Okay? So that's the way you introduce the topic. How can you speak that in English? Right? Encourage them to explain that concept or those two, those two like the stories, okay, or those two instances in English. Okay, so until now, my students, they know simple past, so they are going to give me two sentences in simple past. Then I lead them to foundation. Okay, I give them a challenge. Can you try to make one sentence out of these two? So maybe they can use a conjunction like and, but, something to join these two sentences. Now I can give them some brain activation where I write an example sentence on the board and I ask my students, okay, I can write the same two sentences with the past perfect. I can write that with past perfect, and I encourage my students have I wrote like have I written the same idea? Yeah, and they read the sentence like I had worked or I had let's say completed my homework before I watched the movie or before I went for the movie, right? So they say yes, teacher. That's it. The first sentence was I completed my homework, I went for a movie. So my students, they gave me a sentence, I completed my homework and went for a movie. Which action actually happened first? You completed your homework first or you went for a movie first? What actually happened first? How to explain that, right? So now I have written the sentence on the board. I had completed my homework, and then I went for a movie or before I went for a movie, right? The same idea expressed with past perfect. And I encourage my students, is it clear? Is the idea clear? They can see yes. So that's how we can give them the brain activation. So lead them slowly to the target language. Now the next thing is body of information. Now over here, now I write the construction on the board, or now I write the name of the topic on the board, past perfect tense, and I write the construction and explain them the technicality of this grammar topic. And I ask my students if they understand the topic. Okay. So the clarification area is where, as a teacher, I should ask them some concept checking questions. Right. If I ask them, do you understand? Of course, they say, yes, teacher. I mean, everyone wants to just avoid that awkward moment where there is only one student has raised hand and looking at like everyone else understood. Okay, understood, teacher, right? So they don't want that awkward moment. Okay, they want to avoid that embarrassment. So they are going to say, yes, I understand. Okay, but as a teacher, it is our responsibility to ask some concept checking questions and provide clarification to the students so that the concept actually gets clearer. Then we give them some practice and review activity. Over here, we give them some worksheet activity where everyone is working on their own. Okay? That is independent practice. Phase number 7. Over here, students are going to solve the exercises on past perfect tense on their own. No one is supposed to help anyone else. No speaking, no peeking. Just work on your worksheet. And as a teacher, I keep moving around the class and I do not tell them this is wrong. I just tell them, your answer, this question too. There's something wrong here. Work on it. I just give them a hint and I keep moving around the class and I see what my students are doing. So that's a worksheet activity where if they have any doubts, they can ask the questions to me directly instead of asking to each other, right? And then phase 8, or the last phase, is going to be the closure, where I give them some group activity. Okay? So my learners, they have used the language in the restrictive atmosphere. Okay? So far, it was me standing in front of the class and speaking, my students answering me in the group or individually, and they have worked with the worksheet. But now I want to give them a task where 2 or 3 or 5 of them come together and try to do a little project Okay, and then they come in front of the class and they present that project. So in that case, they have to speak in the target language. So maybe they draw something, paint something, and then they come in front of the class and they show their drawing. This is what is, or maybe they draw something and they explain the drawing. I had done this, then I did that. Okay, something like that. They use the target language, past perfect, with the help of a drawing and explain the drawing by using past perfect. Right. So that is what we do. So that's actually a lesson plan. Okay. Now this is a lesson plan about how to teach grammar effectively. We have lesson plans to teach listening skills, speaking skills, reading, writing skills, all of that. So, because of the time constraint, we cannot really discuss more. Let's go ahead. Over here, we see young and adult learners psychology. Okay, people, so this is really important. And we can speak about the last point about the life experience. Okay, so young learners, they do not have any life experience. The adult learners, just like you people, have life experience. So you're sitting there, right, and listening to me for quite a long time now because you have the experience, right? Because you know that from your experience, I felt the same way when I was in school or in the past. I felt that this is not important, but later on that specific thing proved to be important, right? As an adult learner, we have this life experience. So maybe if teacher is teaching past perfect and the teacher is, let's say, using a very direct method, deductive method, just teacher is teaching everything on the board, no interaction, teacher is just asking you to start writing the sentences, no fun there is there in the class, no lead in, teacher is not using any strategy to explain the concept, just the concept is thrown on you. Okay? But even in that case, or you can speak with yourself that I felt the same way when I was in school. It's not important, it's too difficult, but then it is necessary to, I must know this. So because of that life experience, we can continue to concentrate on the topic, right? But on the other hand, young learners, they do not have that life experience. So they are very it's very likely that they are going to lose attention. So working with young learners, you need to also entertain them and keep their interest sustained in the topic and teach them at the same time. But with adults, you need to be master in the topic. Your young learners may not ask you questions like why we use had in past perfect or why we don't use had in simple past. No, they might not ask you questions. They might not ask you the nitty-gritty, the tiny little details of grammar. But working with young learners, it's a bit challenged because you need to hold their attention. On the other hand, with adult learners, you do not need to hold their attention, but your adult learners, they can go in great depth asking you questions. I have had students who would come in my classes with grammar books. As I was teaching them, they would check the information. Where is it? On which page that information is there in their grammar book? And they would say, teacher, this topic in the grammar book, in my grammar book, this topic is there. You did not explain it, right? So working with adult learners, they have their own challenges. Right? So that's the difference between young and adult, and you can choose what level you're comfortable to work with. Okay, the last topic over here, learning versus personal needs. Okay? So a learning need is the need that is associated with the content of the lesson. On the other hand, personal need is more associated with the learner's perception or with the learner's expectations. Okay? So if I'm teaching passive voice, right, or if I'm teaching conditionals, so for my learners, they need to know the tenses very well. Only then they would be able to understand passive voice, or only then they would be able to understand conditionals, right? If they do not have, or maybe their memory about the past tenses has faded away. So in that case, it is their learning need to revise what they learned in past tenses. Okay, that becomes their learning need. On the other hand, personal need is what style, okay, what is their learning style? And so some students, they learn better with auditory learning, when you speak the examples, some students they learn better with representation of the information on the whiteboard, okay, with visual learning. If you use some drawings, if you draw some small characters, if you draw some lines, arrows, underlines, text on the whiteboard. So for some learner, that is better. For some learners, they need to get the hands-on experience. So, listening and watching is not their style. They need to get some experience of converting the sentences from one, from one grammar to other grammar. Okay, so they need that kind of static learning experience. Okay, so that is their personal need. Understand? Learning need for my learners when I'm teaching them passive voice, learning need is revise past tenses. Personal need is looking at their learning style. Okay, so someone is an auditory learner, someone is a visual learner, someone is a kinesthetic learner. So you need to see most of the learners are mixed. Okay, there is no perfect auditory or visual learner. Okay, we all can learn in any ways, but one of the method is heavier. Okay, so for me, I'm more of an auditory learner. It doesn't mean I don't learn when I read. No, that's all. That also works very well for me. But I learn better when I listen to the explanation. Okay, okay, people. So that's all. No, that was about the introduction to the course or what different things you can learn. It was you can consider or the gist of the course contents. Now on the next slide over here, you see this is where we are TEFL TEFL course. After this course, if you want, there are other certification programs that TESL and CELTA, etc. But TEFL, this very specific course or the certification program is enough for you to get job as an English language teacher in India and outside. Okay, so talking about some job opportunities, as we discussed earlier, you can work as an IELTS teacher. You can work as an, you can maybe you want to become an entrepreneur. Even that opportunity is there. You can start your small academy or small institute where you help people to develop all 7 language skills. Okay, so listening, speaking, reading, writing, grammar, vocabulary, and voice and accent pronunciation. Okay, so you can help them with all these 7 aspects of the language. So maybe you can start your small academy. Then, if you want, you can sign up to platforms, okay, like this, Urban Pro. Okay, I mean, as a handy Harvin, we are not promoting this platform, but this is a platform that is working very well in India. Okay, and students all over the country, they come and they register, they find teachers on this platform, and you can get you can get students. So maybe you have to pay some little subscription fee every month, but then you will get access or you will get a chance to contact the students from all over the country. Yeah, and you can work as a freelance teacher as well, which a lot of people are doing successfully. And if you want, you can extend your learning, you can go ahead with the further courses. And as you can see, this is the biggest area over here, the biggest square. Why? Because these are the jobs which are in huge demand. Okay? So you can associate with international schools. Okay? Nowadays, we see that even in tier 2 cities in India, there are international schools that are starting. Okay? So international school was something initially was only there in Delhi and Mumbai, kind of the metropolitan cities. But now even in tier 2 cities, there are international schools that are that are starting. Or we have English medium schools, convent schools. So a lot of job opportunities are there. Plus, if you want, you can work as a kindergarten teacher. So in India and outside, kindergarten teachers is, I mean, it's actually a very good position. Okay, you get free by the afternoon, and then you have the entire evening for you to decide if you want to work in the evening as a freelance teacher, kind of moonlighting if you want. So that option is also available. Right, people? So let me quickly walk you through the Henry Harvin as an organization. Maybe I think 5 more minutes, and then I will take your questions. Okay, so what is Henry Harvin? Henry Harvin, and where do we come from? Okay, so the journey of Henry Harvin started in 2013. Okay, so the company started in San Francisco, California. It's basically a competency development organization. Okay, the focus is on providing learning solutions, right? And then Henry Harvin, we are catering the demands of various industries and academics. Okay, so over here, we can see more information about the company. So, until now, Henry Harvin has worked or trained people in the training-led or instructor-led training. You can see deliver instructor-led training to a client base of 300,000 plus learners. Okay. So instructor-led, that means something that we are doing now. I'm your instructor. I'm leading you to the course. I'm teaching you about it. Similarly, they have worked, with a client base of that number. Other than that, the self-paced learning training that has been provided to 200,000 plus students. Okay, so self-paced training is these video recordings would be made available to you, and you can at your own pace you can go through that. So with that mode, we have worked with 200,000 plus learners. So Henry Harvin, they provide 400 plus courses. Okay, and Henry Harvin has been vended with 210 corporates. Okay? And in India, Henry Harvin has presence with 130 plus colleges. Okay? So that's a bit about the organization. Now, program features in brief. Over here, in this PG TEFL course, the very first thing that we get is 300 hours of instructor-led training sessions. Okay? So in this PG TEFL program, someone like me will be with you. Okay, we will be working with you live, okay, online live, and this way you will get to learn for 300 hours. So quite a lot of learning here, and 52 masterclass sessions. Okay, so masterclass sessions, they happen once a month, where we help you to revise whatever concepts you have learned. And if you have any questions, any doubts, anything you want to share, okay, so these are the masterclass sessions where we help you to revise the topics. Now, the next thing is you will get the membership for the TEFL Academy. Okay, so membership has its own benefits, like you will be able to keep in touch with people or the other students who have taken the course from Henry Harvin, and you can keep in touch with them. You can share information, right? And towards the end of every course in this PG TEFL course, you have 4 programs. So with every program, you get very engaging assignments and project work. Okay. So upon completion of the course, you will be qualified to teach English. You will also have knowledge with the other cultures. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, Henry Harvin, they have their own, like a separate placement services department. These people, they look only after placement services. Okay? So, Henry Harvin provides you this 100% job guarantee. Right? So, to know more about the job guarantee or how placement services work, you can contact the person who invited you for this program. Because I take care of the academic needs, I can speak on behalf of the academic area. Okay, so job guarantee is something, it comes into administration. So I'm not the best person to speak about it, right? But Henry Harvin does provide you 100% job guarantee. Then on completion of this course, you will find yourself with boundless opportunities from India and around the world. And with the tools that you will learn, okay, just like we saw the tool of lesson planning, classroom management, your productivity will enhance significantly. Okay. Yes, we will. So, that's what you will get. Now, the very last slide, okay, let me spill the beans. Yes, people. So this is the actual fee for this PG program. Okay. but this is the fee. This is the fee that they are offering. This program. Like you can take the program now. Okay. So what does this fee include? So over here, your 300 hours of live training sessions with the trainer. It will be covered, plus 100% job guarantee, plus the examination fees, the certification, the lifetime membership for the TEFL Academy, and the e-learning portal. Okay, so over here, this is going to be a paperless course where everything is going to be there on the LMS portal. LMS is Learning Management System. So all the information will be there, your assignments and everything. You do not really have to carry a pen or a notebook with you. Everything is made available to you. And if you want, you can use or you can access the LMS portal from your mobile, from your laptop. So you choose how you want to learn at your comfort. And this fee, it includes the masterclass session, okay, like the 52 masterclass sessions that we spoke about, plus the unlimited access to multiple trainers. So this point is really important. What will happen is that, let's say you take you enroll for this PG TEFL program, and for any reasons you feel that you want to repeat your second program, let's say business English. Okay? So you can enroll for other trainer for free. You can repeat the entire course for free from other trainers or maybe from the same trainer. Okay, so there is no limit for you to attend as many training sessions as you want. Okay, you choose how many, if for example, let's say you feel that my trainer was actually not able to explain me this concept very well. So in that case, you can attend the training from other uh, trainers or the recordings. Okay, so over here, lifetime membership of the TEFL Academy. Over here, you will get the access to the entire database of the TEFL course, where you will be able to see the recordings of other sessions from other trainers. Okay? So you just need to see, okay, I want to repeat, or I want to see how other trainers have taught Unit 5. So you go to any other training session, okay, by other trainers, look for day 5, open that recording and watch that recording. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to learn. So the lifetime membership of the TEFL Academy, it gives you the access to the database and to other people who have completed the courses. So you can exchange your thoughts, ideas, knowledge, information. Okay? So that all thing is there. Okay, people. Plus, on top of this, we have also started internship programs. Okay, so from last 6 months, we offer free internship programs to the students. So after you have completed your course, you can start attending these internship programs on every Sunday, 5 to 6. So right now I'm speaking with you. It's 4:11 now, and after some time at 5, we will start our internship session. Okay, so that is something that we are offering. Another thing, because we experience that students, they need some more practice with the teaching skills. Okay, so you complete the course, you get the understanding about how to teach, what to teach, etc. But doing it is something was missing. So we from last 6 months we have started conducting these internship sessions where every student, they come, they book their appointment, and there is a group of around 10-15 students, and you teach by considering all the other people as your students. You teach a particular topic, and then immediately after your session, your students will follow, or they provide you with the feedback. Okay, you will learn what worked or what can work better, etc. Okay, people. So if you want to follow us, these are the links, these are the numbers, okay, where you can contact us. And thank you. Okay, so let me keep this slide open. Okay, people. So now if you want, you can ask me your questions. Yes, people. All right, Sonal Rao has asked me a question. Which method works the best to teach English to grade 6, 7, and 8 class? Yes, Sonal, so it actually depends on the class profile. Okay. So if you have students who are more, let's say, who are learning English as their first language, if the students are in international school, or if you're working in a convent high school, if they are studying all other subjects in English, so that means they have greater exposure to the language, right? So in that case, you can choose to teach them with the deductive learning or the direct approach method, right? On the other hand, if you're working with the students who are learn only, English is the only subject that they learn in English, all the other subjects they're learning in their first language. If that is the case, then you need to take a communicative, the inductive learning approach, where you introduce them the topic, you get them to talk about it. You have to play around, move them slowly into the, like, lead them slowly into the topic. Okay. So over here in this course, we are going to study 6 different methods. Okay, 6 main strategies about teaching. So you can choose any of these approaches, but I believe the 3P approach, the 3P method, would work the best, okay, for this age group. So 3P is presentation, practice, and production. I cannot really explain more than that because we do not have much time. Okay, but you can, if you want, you can just search it on the internet, 3P method. Okay, Sonal, thank you. Yes, Ahmed, Varsha, and Krishna, Tejas, Vaina. Do we have any questions here? Yes, people? Yes, Sonal, you're welcome. All right, people. So if you have any questions regarding the course or the enrollment, or anything else other than academics, in that case, you can contact the person who has invited you for this session, and they will be able to help you more about the administrative or the management questions. Okay. If you have any doubt or any question related to the academics, or to the presentation, or how the TEFL certification actually happens, or how it can help, where it can help you to get a job, you can ask those questions to me, right? So our students, this year, I take pleasure to tell you that in India as well, we have the people like our students who completed this PG TEFL course. They have been working with some engineering colleges, okay, because even in the engineering and management colleges nowadays, they have started the soft skills topic. Okay. So of course they need to learn engineering. They need to learn those subjects, that's for sure. But soft skills is something that is also important. And these days at the workplaces, as we all know, it's only 30% of your technical skills that actually are required. Of course, without the technical skills, you will not be able to make into the job. Okay, but the technical part or your technical skills is only 30%. The rest of the 70% is your soft skills. In the kind of work environment we have now, because of the artificial intelligence, computer, and internet, a lot of jobs, they are being done by the computer or the automation. So people, when how much they actually perform with their technical skills is 30%. 70% is their soft skills, team building skills, communication skills, their empathy, their things, their skills to think critically, right? Their critical thinking skills. So by understanding this whole new trend which is there nowadays in India, in the engineering colleges as well, they are providing education on soft skills. So one of our teacher has got a job in a college, in Indore. Okay? So he's working as a soft skills trainer, as a faculty for soft skills and English language. Then one of our students who has completed the course, right now she's working with the IB school. I'm sure you people are familiar with the brand IB school. One of them is working with 𝐦𝐴𝐵𝐿 International School. Okay, so these are the students that I trained. Okay, of course, we have multiple trainers who train this TEFL course, and I'm sure that the other trainers will also be able to speak about the success of their students. Okay. All right, people. So if you have no more questions, then I really thank you very much for your participation and your patience. Okay. I know that we were supposed to, I mean, I said at the start that we will stop after 40 minutes, but it's been quite long. All right, people. Okay, Ahmed, Sonal, Tejas, Krishna, Varsha, Vaida. People, thank you for your participation. I'm going to stop this screen share now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Tejas. So I'm signing off, people. Thank you. Bye for now.